I am back. So guys, I've been off YouTube for a little bit now. Maybe more than a little bit, and honestly, I have no good reason for that, so I'm just gonna call it out for what it is, me being lazy. But that's all gonna change, because in this video, I'll be showing to you guys the most physically intensive VR game known to man, Hollowpoint VR.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Whoa, deja vu, I just been in this time before. Higher on the beat, and I know it's a place to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me.
So the fundamentals of this game can be broken down into a simple illustration you see at the start of every game. Basically, it's a simulated dojo where you try to hit floating targets, which in this case is a blue square with arrows on your back. Once you hit these targets, they fling back at you a ball, and you have to dodge this ball or you die if you get hit by two. All put together, this is probably the most sweat-inducing game I've ever played in VR. It's better than Beat Saber, The Climb, and boxing. And by the way, the red squares that you see me hitting are just one of the targets. Every checkpoint gives you a new opponent, which ranges from the regular blue cubes to the smaller red ones. So I'm just going to briefly explain the game mechanics of all the different opponents and how difficult they are. So first up are the blue cubes, and honestly there's not much to be said about them. They're not that interesting, and they're the first opponent you see in the game. They're pretty easy to hit, they don't move, and the only thing to remember about them is, like all the other opponents in the game other than the people, they eventually turn yellow and shoot their contents at you, which is the ball. So the second target I like to talk about is this shape. I'm not going to try to give a name to it because I have no fucking idea what that is. But the game mechanics for this is basically you hit it and it bounces up, and then once it bounces up you're supposed to hit it while it's still in the air, and if it hits the ground then it shoots a ball at you. Eventually it does turn into a yellow object and automatically jump by itself, but that's pretty basic. All things do that except for the people, as I said before. Now this might seem kind of like an easy opponent since it's one of the first ones you see in the game and it doesn't seem too threatening, but let me tell you, during a match, and especially the 29th round, which I have yet to pass, it is nearly impossible to beat. This shit preoccupies your time for so fucking long, you will be distracted by it and then you'll get hit by a samurai in the back. So don't underestimate this. And now you might be wondering, what is a samurai's game mechanics, as I haven't explained that yet. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, so I won't go too in depth with it, but basically they hold a sword, they run up to you, and they try to slash you. They turn yellow, so kind of like the objects when they're about to die, and they make a certain sound when they're walking towards you and when they spawn. But they're very threatening when they come too close. You don't want to turn your back for too long because you might have one of those things slash you. So just be aware of them, and yeah. Next up is a character that you may have seen if you're paying attention to the last clip I just showed. I call it the Shuriken Ninja. It's basically a regular samurai on steroids, and it's probably the most interesting yet elusive character in the game. The final target is this red square. It functions basically the same as the blue cube with one difference. It has connecting lines that form after a certain amount of time. These lines start disappearing when you destroy one of the connections. If the lines disappear to the point of reaching another red square, that red square destroys itself and flings a ball at you. Now there are some things I didn't explain, like some nuances to these rules or some bosses, stuff like that, but it's pretty easy to get the hang of, and that's just the basics of the game. So without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. Okay, so I'm gonna get to the part where I say I'm 26 in the world of this game right about now, and no, it's not clickbait. I literally looked to the left on the leaderboards and I saw my name beside 26 of all players, and I kind of freaked out a bit, but yeah, so I'm going to show you guys how I did that, the gameplay, some montages, so I hope you guys like this. Let's go. Alright guys, that just about wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was the first time I played such a fun interactive game, and honestly I was exhausted at the end of it, but that's a good thing. I like these games that are both fun and make you exercise at the same time. So if you want to check it out, it's pretty cheap. I only got it for $2. Well, I got it for $2 because I had a credit from Oculus, but I only got it for that much, and it's pretty cheap, so just head on over, buy it if you want to, and I'll be posting soon.